Here we go. We're going to try and find the height of the flagpole. In this diagram below, we can see that flagpole here is marked as side X or of length X. We also know this side down here is 28 feet, and we are given the value of one of the angles here of this triangle as 51 degrees. So we're going to quickly review the SOHCAHTOA and how we set up each of the three trig ratios. Then we'll pick the one we want to use and evaluate from there. The first thing we'd want to look at is the little acronym here, SOHCAHTOA. It kind of describes the ratios for each of the three trig functions. Sine theta, which is the SOH part of this acronym, stands for opposite divided by hypotenuse. So if you ever have to write a sine ratio, it involves this opposite side being divided by the hypotenuse. For cosine, CHA, that's the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. And then we also have the ratio for tangent theta, or any angle, which is opposite divided by adjacent. So with that, knowing those three ratios, we can now come back up to our triangle and see which sides we know and want to know. And again, it all depends on which of the angles in the right triangle you're working with. The only one you can't work with is the 90. So from the 51-degree angle, it's probably easiest to identify the opposite side first. And the opposite side from our 51-degree angle is going to be the side that is straight across the triangle from 51 degrees. And that's going to be our side here marked X. So we would label that as the side that is opposite our triangle. The hypotenuse is probably, if not easier, the second easiest one to identify, and that's always going to be the longest side of a right triangle, or it's opposite the 90-degree angle. So in our triangle here, from the 51-degree angle, this is going to be our hypotenuse. And then finally, I usually do it by elimination. The last one left is what we call the adjacent. All right, so to figure out which ratio we want to use, sine, cosine, or tangent, it always depends on the side you know, the side you want to know, and then obviously the angle that you're working with. So in this case, we want to know opposite, we know adjacent, and the ratio here, tangent, involves opposite and adjacent sides. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can't set up a tangent ratio. And I'll abbreviate opposite with OPP and adjacent with ADJ. So if we fill in all the three unknowns here, the theta, opposite, and adjacent, for our specific triangle, we should find out that the only thing missing is actually X. Tangent of theta is going to become tangent of 51 degrees, and that's equal to opposite, which is X, divided by adjacent 28 feet. Okay, we'll include the units here in our answer, but we won't work with them as we go. Now, tangent of 51 degrees, don't let that scare you. That's just a decimal. That's a number. We can evaluate that, and in this problem, they actually give us a table. They calculated the sine of 51, the cosine of 51, and the tangent of 51 degrees. So what we can do is actually replace tangent of 51 with its approximate of 1.235. If the particular problem doesn't give you that value, you do have a calculator that will approximate them numbers for you. And the one thing you need to check to make sure is that your calculator is in degree mode. It should say either on the screen or in the mode options here. And if we want to evaluate tangent of 51, once we're in degrees, we just type it in, tangent 51. That's how they came up with each of those numbers. We'll use the approximate from the table. So using the approximate there, 1.235, that's now equal to X over 28. And all we need to do is isolate X. So right now it's X divided by 28. The always using inverse operations to solve would mean we would want to multiply both sides of our equation by 28. That'll just cancel out on the right to get X by itself. And now we need to evaluate 28 times 1.235. So we'll take 28 times 1.235, and we'll round our answer off to 2 decimal places. So in this case, we found out that X is equal to 34.58. We want to make sure we included the units. They'd be the same as the other side, and in this case, feet. So hope that helped. Good luck. Thanks for watching.